Let's talk about why the first witness in a trial is so important. Here's what we're talking about today. The case is Florida versus Dima Tower. In this case, you're going to hear testimony about a tragic night in Sarasota County, Florida, when a young man named Dima Tower, who was adopted as a teenager from Ukraine by the Towers, stands accused of murdering his adoptive mother and father, Jennifer and Robbie Tower. You'll listen to how the victims were found. After the crime, the defendant fled, was eventually captured, and expressed his rage to the police. In 2015, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation was released, and one of the things that I really liked about the program was that it immediately grabbed your attention. Before you even had a handful of that expensive movie theater popcorn, Tom Cruise was hanging off the side of a transport aircraft, flailing in the wind nearly 500 feet off the ground. It immediately thrust you into the action. For the same reason, the first witness in a trial is often the most important witness of all, because that person has to grab the jury's attention and hold it to establish what's going on in the case. Janna Walton, the first witness in the Dima Tower trial, is a neighbor of the decedents. Her job is twofold. She humanizes the victims, and she also sets the stage for how the state gets involved by making a 911 call. Let's first take a listen to how she describes her neighbors.
Good morning, Miss Walton.
Good morning.
Can you introduce yourself to the jury and spell your last name for the record?
I can. My name is Janna Walton, and it's Walton.
And where do you live, Miss Walton?
I live at 1200 Malacote Road in Northport, Florida, 34288.
So how long have you lived on Malakoff Road?
Almost 3 years.
Okay. And through your time living there, did you come to know the residents of 1240 Malakoff Road, Robbie and Jennifer Tower?
I did.
Did you consider them personal friends?
I did.
Describe their role in the neighborhood.
Well, we called them the mayor of Malacote Road. He and Jen, Robbie and Jen both got us together every month. He was always walking his dogs down the street, saying hi. We were always seeing them. They'd come over our house at least twice a week, and we'd just hang out and talk. So we were good friends.
And through that, did you also come to know their adoptive son, Dima Tower?
Just briefly.
All right. And is the Tower's home right next door to yours, or was it further down the street?
There's one house in between us. It's one house over.
Okay. And did anyone live in that house between your home and the Tower's home?
Not on that date. Someone does now, but not then.
Okay, so in 2023 it was vacant.
Correct, it's a rental.
You can tell that the affection that she had for Jennifer and Robbie Tower was genuine. She speaks of them as though they were the mayor. That's what she called them, the mayors of the neighborhood, and how they would get everybody together and they'd all hang out and they'd just sit around and talk. Again, you can tell that that affection is genuine. In a wrongful death case, which of course is a civil action, we always say that you need to bring back the decedent and introduce that person to the jury through your witnesses. If the jury cannot understand how special that person was by the testimony of the people who knew him best, you're likely never to get a decent award out of that jury. Similarly, although the prosecution would try just as hard to convict the murderer of someone who engaged in sales of intimate services, let's say, as they would a bank president, it is just as important to lay a foundation for what the person was like and what the state and what her family or the other individuals involved may have lost. And Ms. Walton certainly did a good job of doing that on the stand. Her next job was to set the stage for how the state gets involved. Let's listen to that.
Now, I want to take you back to the night of August 31st of 2023. Were you home that night?
I was.
And who else was home with you?
My husband, my son, and my daughter.
All right. How old are your children?
Right now, 10 and 19.
Okay. Now, just before midnight that night, what were you doing?
I was sleeping.
Okay. Were you sleeping in your bedroom?
I was.
Okay. And is your bedroom on the first or the second floor?
It's on the second floor.
Okay. And is it located at the back of the house or more towards the front of the house?
It's actually on the side. It goes front to back on the side of the house.
Okay. Now, about a quarter till midnight, did something wake you up?
It did.
Tell the jury what you heard.
Well, I heard the Ring doorbell at first.
Okay.
So-
And after you heard that doorbell, what did you hear next?
I heard banging and screaming for help. I need help. I need help.
Okay. And that voice, I need help, I need help. Did you recognize that voice?
I did not recognize the voice at the time. It woke me up out of a sleep. It's just a female voice. That's all I could know at the time.
Okay. Now, when you heard what was happening at your door, were you afraid?
Yeah, I was concerned. I ran downstairs to my daughter who was sleeping downstairs in the room down there. And that was the first thing I did, make sure she was okay.
Okay. So when you ran downstairs, you made sure she was okay?
I did.
Okay. Did you see your son as well?
He followed me down the stairs.
It also helps if you can get some good testimony from your witness that establishes her status as a really good parent. If I heard someone screaming in the middle of the night and it was a female voice and my daughter was downstairs, you can bet my first stop would be in her room to make sure that she was okay. And then, because her son followed her down the stairs, she didn't need to assess whether or not he was okay. Checking on your family first, particularly in a situation like this, is an excellent approach to making sure that everybody that you love stays safe when someone else is in danger. Because I have absolutely no doubt that had she come down more quickly and opened the door before the assailant here got a hold of the woman who was ringing the doorbell and banging to be let in, there would have been an additional victim. So I think that's an important factor too here.
Because he heard it as well.
Okay. Now, after you made sure that your daughter was safe, what did you do then?
I went back upstairs. My husband was actually still asleep, and I woke him up, and I explained what I had heard. So.
Yeah. And I want to take just one step back.
Okay.
Before you went back upstairs, did you do anything to try to see what was happening outside?
Yeah, I did. I actually peeked through, right next to our front door, there's a glass window and there's mini blinds on it. So I peeked through those to see anything, but our light was off, so it was dark out there. I didn't see anything.
Okay. And after you checked that front window, did you check another window at the front of your house?
I did. Right next to it is that office / guest room. And there's a window in there too. It's a little bit bigger window, so I checked that one too to see if I could see anything. But it was dark. It was dark outside.
So were you able to see anyone at your door out that window?
I couldn't see anything.
No. Okay. So after you did that, what did you do then?
I went up. That's when I went up to go wake my husband up and tell him what I heard. And then I came back downstairs.
So when you first wake up your husband, what were you guys doing upstairs?
We were actually trying to find the gun safe key. We couldn't find it. So, of course, we were very nervous. It was concerning. So we trying to find the key. He was looking around for it, and I went back downstairs to my daughter and to my son.
Yeah.
So
Was he able to find the gun?
he was not.
And this is a public service announcement. If you are going to have a gun safe and you are going to put your personal defense weapon, the weapon that you would ostensibly defend your home and family with, into that gun safe, it needs to be a fast action gun safe. And there are numerous different models that you can choose. One model has a situation where there are 4 buttons on the top, and you hit 4 buttons in some sequence. It could be 4 times on the rightmost button. It could be 4 times on the leftmost button. It could be twice on one, twice on the other, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, or any other combination you wanted. It needs to be something simple, however, and the reason it needs to be something simple is because in an emergency, your brain locks up. You have this fight, flight, or freeze reflex, and a lot of us freeze in that situation. The other type of fast action gun safe, one that I prefer, one that I have right next to my bed, is a biometric gun safe. I put my little index finger on that on the reader, and the gun safe pops open. That way, you can be certain that when an emergency happens, you can access your self defense tools. The idea that they had a weapon to defend themselves with and they couldn't get to it, hopefully that spurred them to get a different kind of gun safe. But I want to make sure I'm clear. Absolutely put your firearm in a gun safe, especially if you have children. Even if you don't have children, but you go to work during the day and leave your house locked and hopefully it's secure, there are criminals who break into houses during the day, and you don't want them to be able to get your self defense tools either. So you definitely want to make sure that you use a gun safe and keep everybody safe and happy in that manner. There is absolutely no excuse for not using a gun safe.
Okay. So once you go back downstairs, were you able to see anything at that point?
No.
No. Okay. So what did you do then?
That's when I called 911.
Okay. And when you called 911, about to the best of your memory, how much time had passed since you were first woken up?
Couldn't have been more than 5 minutes. It's just maybe that's about it.
Yeah. Now, while you were talking on the phone with the 911 dispatcher, did you open your front door?
I did.
Can you tell the jury what you saw?
I saw a lot of blood on the ground. I didn't expect that. I had actually turned the light on to see, and when I did, I looked down and you can see it all on my front porch, front walkway.
And what did you do when you saw that blood?
Oh, I kind of freaked out a little. I told them that we needed someone. I don't know if it was an ambulance or police or whoever. 911 told me to shut the door and lock it, and I did. So, and they asked me to stay on the phone with them until an officer showed up.
Yeah. So you were still on the phone while that
Yes.
happened?
Yes.
All right.
Although it lacks the stimulating quality of a video like you get with a dash cam or a body camera, it is customary to play the 911 call that gets the police involved. And the reason that you do that is because there's an element of drama. You can hear the tension in people's voices. But in order to do that, you have to lay the foundation, which is what the prosecutor does here.
You may.
So I'm showing you the film pre-marked states Exhibit 2 for identification. Can you take a look at that disc?
Yes, I see it.
Do you recognize it?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
This was the disc that we reviewed prior to this to make sure, and I signed it and dated it.
Okay, so you reviewed the contents of that disc?
I did.
Okay. And are the contents of that disc a true and accurate copy of the 911 call that you made on August 31st of 2023?
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to enter States 2 into evidence.
No objection. Right. What's been pre-marked as State's Exhibit Number 2 will be admitted into evidence. You may publish it at your leisure. Are you going to play it right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is there a transcript with that or no?
No.
No. Okay.
So Ms. Walton, as the first witness, I think did a really good job. And the interesting thing is nobody actually gets a lot of training in terms of how to testify, I guess, except maybe expert witnesses. They get some training in that regard. But regular people who are just lay witnesses, nobody sits down and says, okay, this is what you have to do. You have to speak into the microphone. You have to look at the jury. You have to communicate with your body language as well as with your tone of voice and with your eyes. You want to make sure that you look at people. Nobody tells people that. Some people are just naturals, and it would appear that Ms. Walton here is indeed in that category. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here today. If you have the opportunity today, try to do one kind thing to help somebody else. Any kind thing will do. Buy somebody a Coke. Get them a cup of coffee. Anything that makes their day better. That would be a way to help make the world a better place. Because after all, isn't that what we're all after? Now, YouTube has a few things that they think you might be interested in, and they're going to be showing you that right up there.